your life if you should do that. Friends, today's program is of MOCAT, a very, very established consultants from the African subcontinent. We have the leader of MOCAT, Mr. Gilbert Banda, with us. I would request Mr. Banda to say a few words before we get on with the program. Mr. Banda, please.
All right. So good evening, everyone from Zambia, from India, wherever you're joining us from. First, I want to thank you for joining us on this very important topic on employee engagement. For us, this is a preliminary training that we'll have with VAC Solutions India, with MOCAT. We will be doing a paid-for program in April, and then in May we'll be having Arun coming over to Zambia to conduct a series of seminars, live seminars on customer service, on business, on entrepreneurship. So we're pretty excited about this partnership, which we started with VAC Solutions and MOCAT. And so for this preliminary training is for us to showcase what it is all about, so that people who need to participate in that 4-day program in April, which will be also on Zoom, and then later on when Arun comes over to Zambia in May, we are hoping that a number of you would have at least seen what the delivery for our presenter is about. So we want to just leave now the room for Arun to be able to make this presentation. But from us at MOCAT, this is a sponsored program which we're sponsoring to make sure that especially people from Zambia can be able to have a feel of the program that we've been promoting, which will be having a 4-day program on employee engagement. Thank you. God bless each of you.
Thank you, Mr. Banda. Thank you. I look forward to not just this program, but to my visit to Africa. I have been to Zambia 2-3 times before, but this time I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you. So friends, let's begin our program on employee engagement. By far, one of the most misunderstood terms. We will start employee engagement program with a story. This story begins in January 1992, but slightly before that. This is a story of a company in Bangalore. They were one of the largest manufacturers in India from early 1980 onwards, manufacturing for giants such as GlaxoSmithKline, Beecham, Geigy, and many other people who are the multinationals who are ruling the Indian market at that time. The company had been in existence for over 25 years at that time. They had been also in the prescription market, but their strength was mainly in generic market and in contract manufacturing. You might wonder why an otherwise successful company making tons of money in manufacturing and exports should be a disaster in marketing its own product, and why it should continue with them. Let me give you the statistics of what this company was in January 1992 when it came to my notice. They had around 73 employees. They were operating in 3 states. They had a total turnover of 6 lakhs per month, just 6 lakhs per month. And they were doing a loss, making a loss of 17,22,800 the year before that. It was at this juncture that this company was recommended to take on an executive who was just 34 years old, working with a large company in Mumbai. He was heading a team of around 600 salespeople. He had no experience in marketing. Was tremendously successful. You can well imagine to have reached the level of a national sales manager by the age of 34 in Mumbai in those days was very difficult, but he had done it. And the marketing head of Geigy, who happened to be this young executive's neighbor, had suggested to the managing partner of this company from Bangalore to look into this person. At that time, the marketing head of this company was a gentleman from Sarabhai, Suri Sarabhai. It was in this context that the promoter of the company met the young boy. They had a couple of meetings, 3-4 meetings. Both are very hesitant because the youngster was already very well established in an established company in Mumbai. He was not willing to take a risk. And the promoter of this large company, he was doubtful because, as is traditionally the case, he wanted someone who could talk fancy figures and had fancy titles and education and supposed to have understood marketing, product management, and the likes of it. The first meeting had taken place somewhere around about June, July in 1991. It went on till 1992, January. In 1992, January, for some reason, they decided to get together. Both were hesitant. But as fate would have it, after a couple of meetings, something clicked between the two, and they decided to work together. They started. Fast forward to 1994. In 1994, the field force had been reduced from 73 to 50. From 3 states, the company had expanded to 5 states. The states in 1992 were Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and UP. The 5 states in 1994 were Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, UP, Kerala, and Punjab. From there, from 6 lakhs per month, they had come to 50 lakhs per month. And in that year, they closed with plus 14.5 lakhs profit from minus 17 point something loss in 1771. June 1995, 50 had become 60. The number of states remained the same at 5. The turnover had gone up to 100 lakhs and the profit had gone up to 43 lakhs. So what exactly do you think must have happened to bring about this change? Would any one of you hazard a guess? What is it that a 34-year-old youngster who understood nothing about marketing and product management do, which turned around a company in just 2.5 years?
The attrition might be low.
Okay.
So that reflects regular promotion. That reflects directly into the sales. Therefore, it reflects into the profitability.
Okay. What this youngster did was only one thing. He helped the people see, he helped the people have a clear vision of the future and helped them to believe in themselves. He had triggered the fundamentals of what he would understand at a later stage and learn as employee engagement. This was the turning point for both the company and the young executive. The company grew exponentially thereafter to merge with Medrec, one of the top generic products company in the world today and leaders in phase 3 and phase 4 trials. And the young executive was picked up as CEO at the age of 39 in a pharmaceutical company that was ranked among the top 10 in the country. That is what employee engagement did to both the company and the youngster. And believe me, the youngster had no idea what he was doing was in fact going to be termed as employee engagement in the days to come. Because we are talking about a period very long ago. People think that is something very extraordinary. I am going to show you the documents which go on to prove that this has happened. This is the letter which that youngster got from his managing partner in July 1994. Please accept my hearty congratulations for having achieved the sales of 50 lakhs in the month of June 1994. You have done an excellent job by taking the sales of Canfa Labs from 6 lakhs to 50 lakhs in a short term of 2.5 years. This was followed the very next year in July 1995 by the same thing. It had gone on from 50 to 100 lakhs in June 1995, 100% growth in one single year from 50 to 100 and from 6 lakhs to 50 lakhs in 2.5 years. Do you really think it was something which he could have done by himself? Absolutely no. Unless the entire company had put the shoulder behind the cart could not have come onto the road and moved. People think there's something extraordinary and technical must be done with sophisticated tools to turn around a non-performing or stagnant company. It is not so. Most times, something as simple as having a clear vision of where you want to go and getting the people to believe in it and in themselves is all that is required for the company to turn around. Today, we are going to be discussing the story of how the attitude of people is changed in the story of employee engagement. You will be surprised to know that knowing how to do is a reason why, this is the picture where the managing partner is presenting a memento to that young executive who was none other than myself, standing here, receiving it. And we have here Mr. Subbarao, who is one of the top, researchers in face styles. Mr. Vijay Raghavan was with an Italian company at that time. Mr. P.S. Vaikuntham was the marketing manager of, Smith Klein Beecham. And this is Mr. Govind Raj, who is the chief executive of Medtronic. They were the people who were there. You'll be surprised to know that not knowing how to do this is the reason why 85% of the workforce is today not engaged in their workplace. 85% of the people are not engaged. And recent survey has shown, this is a Gallup poll, the global Gallup poll survey. And recent survey has shown that there is a decline of 2 percentage points from last year. Disengaged employees cost in the US alone $350 billion each year. And the surprising thing is 46% of the workforce are planning to make a major career transition every year. Even as we speak today, 46% of the global workforce is thinking of changing their job. This is what happens when the workforce is disengaged. And what is the flip side of it? What happens when you have employees who are engaged? According to a recent study by Gallup, businesses with higher levels of employee engagement achieve better business outcomes in the following ways: 18% increase in productivity, 81% decrease in absenteeism. People don't report sick, they don't take casual leave, they don't go on long leave. Lower turnover rates as high as 41%. Someone said attrition. Attrition is lower by 41%. Accidents are fewer within the place of work. customer loyalty jumps by 10%. That means you have 10% more customer loyal to you if your employees are engaged in their work. So what exactly is this employee engagement? When I ask this question, what is employee engagement? I have got all sorts of answers, and most of them relate to the word engagement. People think it is something which the employee has to do. Let us understand the historical background of the concept of employee engagement. The realization that humans are an important part of the business process started somewhere late 1930s to early 1940s. In fact, before 1943, it was the age of machines. The world had seen two industrial revolutions. The focus was on machines. The world was a huge seller's market. You could sell as much as you produced. Man did not feature anywhere in the stream of things. But all that was to change. And change because of one person. One person was going to change all that with his studies. And that ushered in the next period, the period of discovery between 1943 to 1990. This was triggered by a gentleman called B.F. Skinner. How many of you have heard this name, B.F. Skinner? His theory of motivation, the operant conditioning, was going to change everything. It was going to kickstart a series of studies. He's supposed to have said, some days I feel like a blind man in a dark room, searching for a black cat that's not there. This was when there was an avalanche of research on understanding what makes the most unpredictable of animals, the man, tick. All in all, the research focused on man and motivation. People were pulling in all directions, trying to explain the behavior of man as an individual and as a part of society, as a group. Post 1990, 1991 to 2020 is called the period of debates and discussion. Till the advent of COVID-19 is called the period of debates and discussion. The more they studied motivation and human behavior, the more confused people became. And what is so special about 1990? And what is it that triggered the debates? Was the work of an individual called William Kahn, who came in with the theory of employee engagement. This was followed by Zinger in 2014 with a further modification on the theory of engagement, and there was all hell breaking loose. Scientists, psychologists, and business researchers were discussing which is better, motivation or engagement. I would like to ask you all a question here. What is the difference between motivation and engagement? What do you understand by the two terms, motivation and engagement?
Can I say?
Yes, please.
Yeah. See, the word motivation would mean that it's an external factor. See, you guide people, you encourage people to perform on other aspects. Whereas engagement is a internal activity because of, it may be external also, but more it's an internal force which enhances the work alignment and interest towards work. Which
Mr.
is
Mr. Suresh, can I ask you if you have heard of the word intrinsic motivation?
Yes.
Then where is this question of external? And when you say engagement could also be external, it is something like a weather forecast. It could rain, it could not rain, it might not rain also. Tell me something which will give you a clear demarcation. The demarcation between motivation and engagement is very clear. There is no confusion in it.
Yeah, maybe motivation.
Engagement is action oriented. Engagement is action, whereas motivation need not be an action.
I'm sorry, Mr. Suresh, I cannot agree with you there. I have got nothing to say. I leave it to you. Yes, Mr. Yes, two more participants have raised their hand. Yes, who is
Yeah.
it?
Yes, sir, I feel like motivation is personal and engagement is in the workplace related.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, someone had posted something in the chat box. Let me see. Motivation may lead to engagement, but engagement need not be the result of motivation. Okay. It has got nothing to do with transactional analysis, Mrs. Linus. I'm sorry. Yeah, Tejinder, are you muted? DJ? Just a
The
minute.
transaction analysis I wrote, I think, at the time when you were mentioning Skinner.
Okay. BF Skinner. Okay, operant conditioning. Anyone else would like to hazard a guess?
So like motivation is one way and engagement is two way, sort of.
Okay.
Hello?
So, yes, TJ, tell me.
Am I audible now, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, sir. I mean, I can, first of all, it was very nostalgic, when you were narrating that story, because I think I played a very small part of it when you launched in the fifth state in Punjab, and I was hired as a representative.
Yes.
And I remember maybe the training that you and Mr. Natarajan, I believe he was the training manager, right?
Yes.
So it was sort of, great to refresh our memories. As far as this question is concerned, I think motivation is primarily that something within you, whereas maybe, the engagement is primarily somebody else outside wanting to engage with you as an individual. I mean, there's a
Okay.
large component of, you know, how someone outside you would possibly engage with you that could lead to also motivation.
Excellent. Now, friends, let me introduce TJ to you. TJ is an independent consultant today, an international consultant. He had joined with me, as he said, way back in 1993, I think 92 or 93, in Camfa. And then he left the company and went and did his MBA from IIM Calcutta. And the last employment he had was as managing director of Monlike India. Monlike happens to be the #1 advanced wound care company in the world. That's how big he became. Very nice having you here, teacher. It's a great honor to have you amongst us. Okay.
Could I attempt something, sir?
Yes, Sapreji.
Okay. I think motivation is more like a force for achieving something. Okay. But when it is engagement, there has to be something else. To which the engagement cannot happen unless there is another party to it. Maybe it is your team, your attachment to something, means whether it is company or the people around you. That will actually cause that engagement factor. So in engagement, there are actually there is an interaction with something at your workplace. Okay, whereas motivation is purely the drive or the force. Okay, because of which you achieve something, your goal.
Thank you, Sapreji. Does it explain to you, friends? Yes.
Yeah, I think motivation is a feeling. It's a feeling. It's inside. It's intrusive. And engagement you can measure, and it is physical. You can measure the engagement level, but motivation you cannot measure. It's inside. It's a feeling. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miriam. Thank you. Now do you realize why there is 85% disengagement in the world? Why 85% of the employees in the workplace are disengaged? Can you understand? Let us understand in a very clear-cut manner through an example the difference between motivation and engagement. This everyone knows is the example which is given for motivation. The picture represents the carrot and stick. The traditional way motivation is explained. The carrot symbolizes the positives that you will get if you do something. The stick represents the punishment you will get for not doing what is expected. In other words, motivation can be both positive and negative. Now I am going to show you a picture of engagement. Who knows? Maybe the term engagement was taken from this ritual. What does it signify? And how is it different from the first picture? Therein lies the secret of this concept. Can anyone tell me what this signifies? What is the difference between the two pictures?
Is it commitment, sir?
Commitment. Sorry, good.
It's a mutual commitment.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now let us take this and understand it with a situation which will starkly bring the reality in front of you. What do you see here? You see a ship in the middle of the
Burning
ocean
ship.
having caught fire, correct? Now let us assume you are one among the 100 people in that ship. You can see a lifeboat which has been lowered and only 10 people that lifeboat can catch. What will you do, my dear friend? The ship has caught fire. It's in the middle of the ocean. A lifeboat has been lowered. Only 10 people can get onto that lifeboat. What will you do?
I'll try to be one among the 10.
And what all are you willing to do for that? Beg, borrow, steal, murder, do whatever you will want to get onto the lifeboat, correct or not?
Yes, sir.
The motivation to live is so strong, isn't it? Answer me.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now, think of the same situation. The ship has caught fire. The lifeboat has been lowered. Only 10 people can get onto the lifeboat. But now, instead of you being alone, your son is also there with you. What do you do?
Save the sun first.
Now
I'll try to send my son first than me.
Why? Why? Your commitment to that relationship supersedes your personal requirement. That is engagement. That, my dear friends, is engagement. Motivation is the employee's drive to succeed and do outstanding work to benefit him. In motivation, it is you who takes primary position. Your commitment is to yourself, but in engagement, the commitment is to the employer. The employee's voluntary emotional commitment to the organization's success is employee engagement. How to do that is what the whole story is about. We will see why motivation fails. Motivation will fail every time. Engagement will win every time. If you are there on the boat along with your son, you will never ever do anything other than first put your son on the boat. Then you might do everything to get on the boat yourself. But that's a second story. That's a secondary story. Your first commitment will be to ensure that your son is safe and on the boat. That is engagement. In the same way, for instance, how many of us have heard of a senior executive leaving a company and going and taking the entire team with him? Have we heard this?
Very common.
That is how dangerous motivation is. A motivated employee, when he goes, will take the entire team with him if he's a performer and ruin the company, but never an engaged employee. For an engaged employee, the company comes first. So what is the big problem? Let us see the various case studies and instances where it has been proven beyond doubt that motivation fails. This is the story of a Surat diamond tycoon. This came in 2018. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was asked to hand over car keys, 600 cars. Fixed deposits to employees were given by a Surat diamond tycoon. So you will definitely agree the employees must have been highly motivated, right? This was followed by a news that the Gujarat diamond industry was facing large-scale job issues. This was just a few months after this happened. It was in May 2019 that the same thing happened with that company. What went wrong? Here was an employee giving 600 cars, fixed deposits to his employees, and the same company and the same business gets into problem within 5-6 months. Why? Let us look at the pharma industry. We have got some big pharma people here. Mr. Ujjal is there. TJ is there. Pharma incentive compensation plan landscape 2019. Pharmaceutical companies must now ensure that their existing sales force remain productive, motivated, and committed by developing refined strategies to incentivize and reward programs. And what was to follow? The information that while in the world, global pharma marketing attrition was 10 to 12%, in India, in spite of all this incentivization, it was 25 to 30%. More than double. What explains this? Why is motivation not working? Harvard Business School says rewards do not create a lasting commitment. They merely and temporarily change what we do. Punishment and rewards are actually two sides of the same coin. Both have a punitive effect because they are manipulative. Think of it, friends. How many times incentivizing has failed in your life? Harvard Business Review says research estimates over 30% of high performers feel a lack of engagement at work, and 25% expect to work elsewhere within a year. 25% of high performers are already looking for a change as they are performing. How many of us have experienced the marble syndrome? What is this marble syndrome? Every parent knows positive reinforcement creates more good behavior. You start off by telling the child, I will give you this if you do that. I will give you this if you do that. Only to realize soon what research has said about child development, that positive reinforcement is wrong. Rewarding good behavior leads to bad behavior. That's what it leads to. In fact, in psychology, there is a term called the cobra effect for it. What is the cobra effect? During the rule of the British government, people are terrified by cobra snakes in the city of Delhi. So the government, they said that they will pay for every cobra that is caught. Very soon they realized that the whole thing was backfiring on them. People had started growing cobras so that they can make money. Something very similar happened in the Great Hanoi Rat Massacre that occurred in 1902 in Hanoi. And something very similar happened with the US Army post Fort Benning on feral pigs, where they gave $40 for a pigtail. It turned out that people started growing pigs. This is called perverse incentive. Incentivizing always works against you. Motivation will always work against you. The more you try to motivate people, the more it will work against you. Most companies have realized that. Not only that, motivational programs foster unhealthy competition. They destroy teamwork. They reinforce extrinsic rather than intrinsic motivation. When you try to motivate from outside, the intrinsic motivation is totally destroyed, ruined. And the sum and substance is that overall motivation is totally gone. What is to be done? The only thing you can do is take a person, motivate him, and then push him to become engaged. The solution is very simple. Nudge your employee from being motivated to engage. The question is it just a matter of nudging your employee or yourself from a state of being motivated to becoming engaged? Then why are employers and bosses not doing it? Why are employers and bosses not doing it? Reserve Bank of India has recently let out an information that 70% of the companies close down in 10 years' time. What does that mean? That means family after families are getting ruined. Does that bear out? I want you to watch this video and tell me what you understand from this. So what did you understand from this video?
Grass on the other side looks greener.
Huh?
Grass on other side looks greener.
Okay.
Don't know what is underneath.
Okay.
A manhole has been opened and kept without closing it.
Okay. So what is
The
the lesson
person
you learned from it?
The person was determined to go, even if it was raining, he had to go where he's going.
Okay. A very simple message. Ignorance is dangerous. Very simple. If the man had known that there is a manhole there which has been covered by running water, would this have happened? It would never have happened. But he did not know. According to him, the water was flowing on a solid ground. In most cases, entrepreneurs don't understand what is to be done to get their employees to be engaged. Or tell me one thing, friend, there are so many entrepreneurs here. When you start out on a venture, do you ever give any thought about employee engagement. You will contract a chartered accountant to create a cash flow statement, a project report, a pitch deck. You will start doing your financials. You will survey and research your market. You will think about product and innovation and messaging and branding. But you will forget about one thing, the person who is going to be doing all these things. You don't care a damn what happens to all the people who are going to be joining with you. And then what happens? You walk out into the rain, the manual is there, you drown. Simple. The message is very simple. Next time you step out onto a venture, think. And where should you start learning about all this? You should start learning right at the beginning. The fundamentals. Leading to the 1938 B.F. Skinner operant conditioning theory. Study it properly because you are dealing with human beings. You need to know how he has come to be where he is. You need to understand George Homan's social exchange theory because that forms an essential part of creating that framework which will help you to create an engaged employee. From there, you move on to Herzberg's two-factor theory. The two factors are the hygiene factors as well as the motivating factors. From there, you move to Adams' equity theory of 1963. This is just the beginning. From there, you go on to Bloom's expectancy theory of 1964. That gave rise to the job demand and resource model of 2006. I'm sure most of you have gone and had food in a five-star hotel. Am I right? What's so different about the food in the five-star hotel and the food in a regular restaurant? Other than that, a regular restaurant will charge you maybe 100 rupees for what? The five-star hotel will charge you 3,000 rupees. But still, you're very happy paying the 3,000. That's what the job demand theory is all about. How do you craft your job? That brings you to William Kahn's engagement theory. In 1990, this is where we shifted from motivation to engagement. That goes on to Zinger's engagement model, to A.O.N. Hewitt engagement model of 2014. Now we are ready. Once you have understood all these, in the main 4-day course, we will be studying each and every one of these and how it fits into the overall engagement model. After going through all these things, we will look at the 15 tactics internationally that large companies use to motivate their employees in such a way that it doesn't backfire on them. Because once they have realized that motivation has a strong tendency to backfire, large corporations like Google, Apple, Amazon, and Infosys and all have created motivation techniques which will prevent everything from backfiring on them. That is not enough. You also need to know the 18 reasons why people can get disengaged in their job. After going through all the motivation theories, the engagement theories, the 15 ways the large corporations motivate their employees and put in place checks and balances so that these 18 reasons of disengagement are disengaged, we come to the 7 drivers of engagement. Now let us understand what those 7 drivers are through this picture. So here you see a boy and a girl getting married. This contains all the 7 drivers of engagement. Can any one of you help me identify those 7 drivers of engagement? What is the first one?
Commitment.
Huh?
Commitment.
Commitment. Yes, commitment is one of them, but not the first.
Holding the hands, work
Huh?
together. Holding the hands together, work together.
First
Carrying,
one.
carrying.
See, you're all getting it. Now I think we are getting on to the real place. The first one is recognition. You recognize the fact that you are no more one person. You're tied to another person for your entire life. Finished. Because even if there is a divorce, the fact that this person has become a dominant part of your life at this stage will never go away. As they say, when a mirror breaks, even if you can fix it up together, paste it together, the mark will remain. Similarly, the recognition that you are never alone anymore. Recognition is the first driver of employee engagement. What is the next? Now you see, let me give you a hint.
Role clarity.
Two people have been yoked to a cart. Two people have been yoked to a single wagon or a cart. If the wagon has to move smoothly, what is necessary?
Both should parallelly move.
Excellent means what? They should empower each other so that they can do things with equal efficiency, capability, commitment, and focus, isn't it?
Yes,
If
sir.
one of them is weak, the other is strong, what will happen? The cart will topple. So the next is empowerment. The first driver of employee engagement is recognition. The second driver of employee engagement is empowerment. What is the third? How do you empower? How do you
Role
empower?
clarity. Role clarity.
How do you empower? Role clarity is there. Husband has his role, wife has a role. They can interchange the roles also sometime. But how do you empower each other?
Mutual
What is the
respect.
best way of empowering?
Respect.
Give authority.
Authority with
Delegating the
accountability.
job.
Authority.
Respect. Mutual respect.
That is at the foundation of
Trust.
everything.
Trust in each other.
Yes.
That is there.
You empower each other by giving constant supportive feedback of how things are happening, isn't it?
True.
So supportive feedback. Now, feedback has a past acrimonious connotation. You always look at the past and say, you did this, you did that, you did. No. So the supportive feedback has to be converted into a supportive feed forward. Looking into the future, learning from the past, discussing and looking into the future is what is supportive feedback. What is the fourth? If there is a supportive feedback in the form of a feed forward, what should ideally be the fourth?
Helping other improve performance.
Partnering. There shouldn't be a hierarchical position here. Both should be on even keel. They should consider themselves as partners and not one above the other at any stage. What will this partnering do? How do you ensure that there is good partnering between two people?
Both are committed and both are holding each other for performance.
When expectations are very clear, when each knows what to expect from the other, expectation as an element of providing for the resources, the time, the training, the effort, everything. You can't expect something without providing all these things. That means partnering means if I expect my partner to do something and that partner is lacking in something, I should be able to provide that and fill up that gap. So expectation is the fifth driver of employee engagement. The first driver is recognition. The second driver is empowerment. The third driver is supportive feedback. Fourth driver is partnering. Fifth driver is expectation. And then when it comes to expectation, what is the obvious sixth driver?
That's the commitment now.
Consideration. Expectation has to go hand in hand with consideration. You can expect whatever you want, but you need to have consideration for the other person's current status, ability, and where and how that person can move up to what you are expecting from that person. That consideration is the sixth. And for all these six to work, finally, trust is most important. Trust in yourself, trust in the other person. Now look carefully at these seven. Do you see an acronym?
Yes.
What is the acronym?
Respect.
Engagement.
This is called, my
Respect.
dear friend, this is called, my dear friend, the respect model. When you put the respect model into your organization, how to do that, how to create that conditioning, we will see. I would like to explain something to you here. Way back, when men were living like animals, society was not very well differentiated. You know, there are three major drives. One of the major drives is the one which caused marriage as an institution. Sit down for a few seconds, close your eyes and think. Let us say you got married on 20th of October 19XYZ. Your wife was not your wife on 19th. She was the third person. What is it that happened due to which on 20th you suddenly developed a sense of possessiveness over her and she developed a sense of trust on you?
Tying the mangal nut or ring.
So something happened, some conditioning happened, isn't it? Employee engagement is such a conditioning. If you do it and inculcate it properly through these seven drivers, it's a very simple thing. Your employee will become engaged. If you don't know how to do it, this is just theory. It's simple theory, nothing else. But if you know how to do it, then it will work. That is what is so great about this model, the respect model. There is a particular way of going about creating the recognition, the empowerment, the supportive feedback, partnering, expectation, consideration, and trust. Without understanding most of these, since I was a student of cognitive science and since I was a student of behavioral science, I could inculcate it into the organization when I took over in January 1992. That is why I succeeded. If I could do it unknowingly, you can do it knowingly. What will be the result of it? The profit will zoom up by 21%. In any organization that you head or any team that you lead, the profitability will zoom up by 21%. Theft will come down by 28%, absenteeism by 41%, staff turnover by 59%. What will it mean to you and to your organization? The company, it will mean lower cost, higher profits. For you as a manager, as a leader, it will mean lesser strain, greater output. With lesser strain, you will be able to get greater output. For the company, it will mean happier employee, lesser attrition. For you, it will mean better team spirit, higher performance. You will work as a family. For the company, it will mean better customer metrics. And for you, consistent and predictable performance. There'll be no uncertainty, no last moment selling, no running around like a headless chicken. For the company, it will mean efficient execution, timely achievement. For you, it will mean no last minute panic. It will always be timely delivery. There will be no uncertainties in your life, in your professional life. For the company, it will mean stable growth orientation. For you, it will mean better career prospect. I took a gigantic risk in coming from Mumbai to Bangalore in 1992. Outcome, by 1996, I had become the CEO of a company which was among the first 10 in India. That is what employee engagement can do. Canfa became Medrec. I became a CEO. Both of us benefited only because of employee engagement. There is no magic wand. You don't need to know complex formulas in marketing or great theories in brand management. If your team is engaged, if it is willing to go over and beyond its responsibility, they will perform because they will enjoy performing. When they perform, you perform. When you perform, organization performs. Everyone benefits. And finally, my dear friend, company's brand equity and earning per share becomes very high. You develop job satisfaction. You develop security. This is what employee engagement can do. A program like this in the US will cost anything up to $1,000 for 3 days, total 6 hours. But on 9th to 12th April 2024, I'm going to be doing this program online. This program is based upon the research of Paul Marciano, who is a leader in employee engagement today, and he is the head of Whiteboard Consulting. 25 years of research has gone into it. And after taking that training, I'm going to be training you all on employee engagement. And it is going to cost you 10,000 rupees for 4 days to ensure a 21% growth in your profit. You have got 15 minutes to register. Register paying just 1,000 rupees within the next 15 minutes and get a discount of 25%. The balance you can pay 6,500 on the 7th of April. You can take a screenshot of my Google Pay and Phone Pay. Google Pay is new Arun 9-1 at OK Access. Phone Pay is 63629727704 at AXL. Those who have joined from Africa, please contact Mr. Gilbert Banda. He will send you the link for registration. Please take a screenshot of this. If you were to pay 1,000 rupees within the next 15 minutes, you will get a 25% discount. That means the 10,000 rupees program will cost you just 7,500 rupees. The program is from 9th of April to 12th of April. Same time, 9 o'clock in the evening for 2 hours every day. 9, 10, 11, 12. In those 4 days, we will be discussing all the motivational theories, the employment engagement theories, the 15 strategies that leading multinationals and companies across the world, successful companies, use to motivate their employees, and the 18 disengaging factors in the company, how to offset it. And we will discuss how to intervene at every level from the bottom of the ladder to the CEO with this respect model for employee engagement, because each of the startup will require a different application. You will be given the entire recording of those 4 days. In addition to that, I will be giving you 4 hours of free consultation within 1 month. Within 1 month, you can take this 4 hours consultation either as 1 hour per week or in 2 sittings of 2 hours and in 1 sitting of 4 hours. Whatever clarification help you want, you can take. There will be a surprise gift of what is called the Workplace Attitude Index tool. This Workplace Attitude Index tool teaches you how to measure expectation against experience, so that you will know on an employee-wise and department-wise basis what requires to be addressed. What is lacking in terms of motivation, or what is creating the disengagement. This you can identify with this Workplace Attitude Index tool. This will be given to all those people who will be attending the main webinar. Collect the information, prepare the strategy, use it. You will also be given a certificate certifying that you have successfully completed your employee engagement course of 4 days under WAC solution and MOCAT. I promise you, gentlemen, that I will give you a template. All those people who will join this introductory webinar will be given a template which will help you realize how well you are engaged or disengaged at work. Eager for it? How many of you want to know that? Would you like to know how much you are engaged or disengaged in your work or life or whatever it is that you are doing? Great. Let's see. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you all to post your WhatsApp number in the chat box so that I can also send you the template in your WhatsApp. We will discuss the template here for a few minutes. You will know how it is to be done. But at the same time, I will send it to you so that at your leisure, you can use it on yourself, or you can use it on any of your employees if they are cooperative and close enough with you. Let's start. There are many people who just need a place to live and shelter, so they need salary that pays the bill and provides these necessities. For them, survival is the most important thing. They are highly disengaged. If you are going to the office because you need the money, and if your inner talk says, I'm here for the money, I will leave when I can. I'm not satisfied with the job I do. My work doesn't excite me. And if you're one of those people who keeps looking at the watch, when it will be time to go home, you are disengaged. Friends, one thing let me tell you, the engagement level is not the same throughout the day. It could vary. And it is not the same every day. That could also vary. And it is not the same when you are interacting with everyone. That could also vary. So you need to know, when these inner talks start, look at what you are doing. You will know what is causing the disengagement. Look at the surroundings and the situation you find yourself in. You will know what is causing the disturbance. And if there is someone with whom, when you're interacting, particularly this sort of an inner talk starts, you will know who is the reason for your disengagement. That will give you adequate ammunition to protect yourself from finding yourself in such a situation. Remember one thing, disengagement, more than being bad for the organization, it is bad for you. Because if you get conditioned with this sort of an inner talk and this sort of an disengagement, your life will become miserable. It will become miserable, I'm telling you. So it is very essential that you should know at which level of this engagement you are. There are 5 different levels that we will be discussing. Find out which level you find yourself in front of which person, under which circumstances, doing what. You will know what it is you should avoid, what it is you should try to do more, who it is you should be found in the company of more. The second is you're not engaged, but you're not exactly disengaged. It is when you start thinking, I got this many sick leaves, I got this many casual leaves, this many paid leaves, I can use it. You feel the working condition is not very good, the working condition is very poor. I don't like my manager or my team, I don't like these people. I don't want my job that much, but I get along with it. Okay, it's okay, even though this is not the type of work I would like to do, but I'm doing it. What are the conditions in which these sort of thoughts come? This sort of a discussion is going on inside you. That is when you might not necessarily be totally disengaged, but you're not exactly engaged also. The third is, I know I'm part of something big. I'm proud to work here, but I might leave if I'm tempted. There are no career development prospects here. You're almost engaged, but still not engaged. When your career, you're questioning your career. It doesn't matter at which level you are. You might be at the level of a marketing manager. You might be at the level of a CEO also. But if you feel I don't have any growth prospect anymore, that means you're not, you're almost engaged, but not yet fully engaged. You feel you're a part of something very big, you're proud, but still, you feel that you'd like to keep your options open. That means you're yet not fully engaged. You're almost engaged. I'm a vital part of the business. I feel important at work. You feel you're important. I'm swamped and very likely I'm highly stressed. Remember one thing. Even when you're engaged, you could feel stress. And the question might come, should I leave if something better comes along? When this question is there, you are engaged, but still it is taking a toll on your health. You are not really enjoying what you are doing. This is not exhilarating. Remember, there are 2 types of stress. One is called eustress, the other is called distress. Eustress is a positive stress, which makes you want to achieve more. Usain Bolt, when he's on the starting, when the starting gun is going to go, he feels a knot in his stomach. Or Sachin Tendulkar's butterflies in the stomach is a sign of eustress. He's looking forward to it, but the stress is there. He's highly stressed, but it is positive. There's an adrenaline pump. But you wouldn't want to be anywhere else. That is eustress. But here there is distress. You're highly stressed. You're swamped with work. You feel important, but you're really not enjoying it. And occasionally you keep asking, should I move on to something better? Will something better get along? You are engaged, but still you are away from the best part, which is highly engaged. What can I do for others? I am an inspiration for others to do their best. I love working here. This is the place everyone should aspire to be throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year. There might be moments in the day when you are here. There might be moments in the day when you are in the engaged level. There might be moments when you are in almost engaged. There might be moments when you are not engaged, or there might be moments when you're totally disengaged. How much of which you are in will decide how happy, how healthy, how successful, and how much achieving you are going to do. Post your, WhatsApp number. I will send you the template in Excel sheet. You can go through it, sit, think about what I have shown here. I'm sure it will help you. And friends, it would be great if you could join this program from 9th to 12th of April. And the Google Pay is new Arun 9-1 at the rate of OK Access. Phone Pay 636297270 at AXL. Register paying just 1,000 within the next 15 minutes and get a 25% discount. The balance you can pay 6,500 on 7th of April. Looking forward to meeting you all there. And I sincerely wish you'll all master employee engagement, become successful, happy, and comfortable in your business and your career. Thank you for listening patiently. I'm open for questions, if any. Yes? Any questions? The course is starting on 9th of April to 12th of April, 9, 10, 11, 12. Evening, 9 o'clock Indian time to 11 o'clock Indian time. 5:30 Zambia time. Dubai time is 7 p.m. Those of you who want to join from Africa can talk to Mr. Gilbert Banda. His number is there on the flyer. If you can give me your WhatsApp number, I will send you the template. Any questions?
So what is the future of engagement in the gig economy and gig employment scene?
You see, gig economy is also, gig economy is what? Temporary employment. You take consultants and get them to come and work for you in gig economy. Like, you don't have permanent employees, you have, what do you call it, contract employees. But employee engagement is a concept where the commitment, the emotional commitment towards the parent organization is very high, whether the person is a contract employee, a temporary employee, or a permanent employee. It doesn't matter because the culture of the organization is such that you have these 7 key drivers of employee engagement: recognition, empowerment, supportive feedback or feed forward, partnering, expectation, consideration, and trust built into the organization. So any person coming into the organization for 8 hours a day or 2 hours a day still will feel all these things because it is part of the operative culture. So the commitment will always be higher. Does that answer you, Mr. Linus?
Yes, sir. I understand. It's part of the culture, actually.
Yes, what you are effectively doing is you are identifying the cultural differences between the various hierarchies. You see, when we talk about culture, we need to understand 3 things. Culture is driven by 3 fundamental aspects of life. Right from the time human beings appeared on earth, they have lived in groups. There has been a need for bonhomie. There has been a competitiveness within them. So hierarchies were always there. And the third most important thing is man has always looked for meaning. These are the 3 fundamental aspects of our existence. Wanting to be a part of something, being competitive and getting ahead, and finally understanding the meaning of what it is. That is what culture is all about. So you see, there will always be a hierarchy in an organization. The culture which you need to create in terms of these 7 drivers at the lowest level of the hierarchy, at the foot soldier level, will not be the same as what you will need to inculcate at the highest level in the levels of the vice president and president, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you see, the requirement is going to be different at every stage. So how do you do that?
Mhm.
You see, you need to create a composite culture in the corporate, which will address the requirement of the foot soldier, at the same time address the requirement of the CEO,
Mhm.
and drive these 7 things simultaneously.
Yes.
It is not a very difficult thing. It's very simple. For instance, let me take a very simple example. You know, we humans are, have you ever heard of the term called complexity?
No, no.
Complexity,
Simple
no.
Huh?
complexity.
Complexity.
No.
Simplicity is simpleness developing into complexity. This is a term used in cognitive science. The tendency of simple things to be made complex is called complexity. You want to see an example of it? I will want what do you call it? A volunteer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Bala. Bala,
No,
as
Sandhya
usual.
ma'am has given the volunteer.
Okay, Sandhya ji. Are you ready?
Ma'am,
I think it was not me, someone else was.
Anyone will do. It's a very beautiful
I am
concept, Simplicity is very beautiful concept.
Sir, it was me, Harati.
Yeah, it was not me
Okay,
actually.
we will go with a neutral person, Harathi. Okay.
Yes, I can. No problem.
No, just a minute. We will do it with Miss Harathi. Miss Harathi, I want you to reload as fast as possible A to Z.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. A to Z.
Yeah, go ahead.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
How difficult was it?
It was easy because I have been.
Very easy, isn't it? Now, in a haphazard manner, tell Z to A.
You want it to be haphazard?
Z to A, haphazard.
Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, L, M, N, O, P.
MNOP was sequential. It was not haphazard.
Okay.
What does it tell you? What did it show you? A simple thing as alphabets A to Z can become complex when told to recite in the backward way, right? Haphazardly, right or not?
Yes, yes.
That is one. There is another thing in it. The human mind tends to make it even more complex because all that you had to do was at random say Z to A. That should have been even more easy, isn't it? At least in the case of A to Z, you have to tell it in a sequential way without missing out anything. But here you had an opportunity, you could have said anything and it would have been right. This is what is complexity. Simple systems being made complex by the mind. In the same way, employee engagement is very simple. You are there in your house, your husband is there, your children are there, your in-laws are there, everyone is there, life is going very smooth. Learn from that and put it in your company, it becomes as simple. Remember one thing, there are going to be friction. It is not going to be frictionless. But then when the people are your own, all sorts of frictions can be solved. You should have that trust and faith in yourself and in your people. That's why I said that all the other 6, from recognition to empowerment to supportive feedback to partnering to expectation to consideration, will not work if fundamental thing called the 7th driver, trust, is not there. And all these 7 will not work unless you have respect, which is the main model. Respect is at the foundation. Just ask yourself a simple question. How big is Reliance Industries? How big is it? a huge company, isn't it? So when you talk about Reliance, whose name comes to mind? Mukesh Ambani. But tell me one thing, if all the employees of Reliance Industries were not there, would Mukesh be there? Without this realization in Mukesh that he is dependent on all the employees who are working in that company, he will be nothing. That is the respect. So you see, in employee engagement, the system is extraordinarily simple. As long as you keep in mind that you will have to work towards making it complex. In those 4 days, we will be understanding all the motivational theories, all the engagement theories, all the ways of motivating people without it backfiring on you. And you will also be understanding what are all those things which cause disengagement. And then we will understand how to drive employee engagement as a cultural objective for the organization through a framework which can be introduced in any organization starting at any level. You need not be the managing director of the company or a CEO of the company or the marketing manager company. You can be a frontline manager and introduce this for your team of 5-6 people. And they'll start performing well. It's as simple as that. Any more questions? So all of you have given your WhatsApp number.